This series of 9 videos is about our vacation in 2017 to Yellowstone National Park. Part 7 takes place on the same day as Part 6, focusing on the hydrothermal features and wildlife at Mammoth Hot Springs. This is the Mammoth Hot Springs area from a distance. The features at Mammoth are different than any other area of the park. There are no geysers here, just hot springs. Also, because of the area's geology, the springs form high terrace formations, which is why we can see it from a distance like this. Mammoth is also one of the more developed parts of the park, since it was once home to Fort Yellowstone. The Albright Visitor Center, formerly the Bachelor Officers' Quarters, is a good place to start in the area. In the Mammoth Village itself, it is common to see elk lounging on the lawns. If they decide to check out the visitor center, it may be temporarily closed until they move on. Visitors should stay at least 25 yards from elk. Since this was September, the elk were in their rutting season. This male had lots of things to sniff. The sniffing included members of his harem. Sometimes the elk seem very calm and tame. They are not. It is not wise to try to pet them or even to get this close. From the village, we headed to the hot spring terraces. From there, we could look back down on the village and take in the spectacular view. Canary Spring was the first feature we visited. Canary was an example of the terraced architecture of the area. Just like in other areas of the park, various microorganisms colored the features. The white is made up of the newly formed parts of the terrace, showing the color of calcium carbonate minerals. The process of forming the terraces here is similar to the process that forms stalagmites and stalactites in caves. But since the water here is hot, the process happens much faster. Moving on from Canary, we saw other examples of terraces. Rebecca found a tree that spoke to her. Then we arrived at Mound Spring. Besides the beautiful terraces, Mound Spring had this effect that looked like the ground was moving. Across the boardwalk from Mound Spring was more of the same. The minerals deposited by the springs can accumulate on anything they come into contact with. Here's another reminder to hold onto your hat around the park's hydrothermal features. You won't be going in to retrieve anything if it blows in, and it ruins the beauty of the features for others. The drive through the upper terraces brought us to Orange Spring Mound. I thought it should be called Walrus Spring. This was actually an unnamed feature that epitomized the character of the area. Features come and go more frequently here than in other parts of the park, so some do not get named, and some with names seem not to exist. On our way from the upper terraces to the lower terraces, we ran into more elk. This male was practicing his skills on a fallen tree branch. He got the best of it and decided to look for something else to do. Though his rack was less impressive than the bull elk in town, he still had his own harem to tend to, so we found something to keep him busy. We just followed this group for a while as they walked along. We left the elk and went to the lower terraces, where we saw more elk. We also saw Liberty Cap, created by a hot spring long ago. What is this? Like I get credit for the elk being there? Notice that I'm in a short sleeve shirt. Even though it was cloudy and it snowed a few days before, it was warm this day. The active spring near Liberty Cap is Pallet Spring. The dark rock between the white and the orange is called Devil's Thumb. As we pan left, you can see the mostly white active area, the orange active area, and the grayish currently inactive area. The orange area was really made up of many colors. So was the white area. If you go to visit, it is quite possible that the active areas will be in different spots in this dynamic landscape. From here, our day continued with visits to the Boiling River and the Lamar Valley, which are featured in Part 6. Part 8 shows our last day in Yellowstone, when we visited Yellowstone Lake and the West Thumb Geyser Basin. It also shows where we went in Colorado to escape the snow in Yellowstone.